Okay. Hi, everyone. So this is a special version of the Aspen Gathering today. So thank you all for joining us today. It is special because we pretty much all of Bywater is actually together this week at the staff retreat that we have once a year. So you may see me on multiple cameras because I am sitting next to Jordan and Mark. And the rest of the Bywater crew are downstairs in a conference room, so you may see them on the camera as well. Everyone in the Bywater room, wave.
Hi.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is your chance to see, zoom in on all of our faces if you so choose. So thank you for being here. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mark because we start off every Aspen gathering with the Aspen updates in an instant.
Thanks, Morgan. Let me get my screen shared. All right, we have a bunch of cool things again this time. So let me start. We did have a couple of little point releases, as we often do with some just little updates. I'm going to focus especially on the 2309.10 release. This is largely some Sierra updates that we have for a library going live now-ish. So we needed to get those out before the full release. So some different things, especially related to Sierra. So let's start with looking at some indexing updates. So we added to our Sierra settings the ability to define a few new things, some extra call number pre-stamp fields. There's some changes to how the URLs work. And let's take a quick look and see what those look like. So here we've got an example with some item links. This will actually work for other ILSs as well. So if you have item URLs, you can define those back up here in the item information and the URL. So down here towards the bottom, where'd they go? Let's search for them. So if we look for our URLs, we have the item URL, and this will be called item URL description. If you define where those are located, then we will index those URLs. And those don't get access online buttons or anything, but they will display within the copies section. So some different examples here. They've got a click here for a digital copy that sends us off to archive.org. We have another one that is for museum passes. So if you've got different reservation systems, you can click to that, whereas some of the other ones don't have that. So we can click into that and go to the reservation system. We can, so those are a couple of different options. We also have mark holdings. So this is Sierra, and the mark holdings aren't stored as part of the normal mark record that we get as part of the export. So we have to go call another API in order to load the mark holdings from Sierra, and then we inject them back into the mark data. So we will see down here, we have that content injected into the 852 and 866. So then that index is the same way we get the information from like Symphony. We've talked about that a few months ago, or close to a year ago now. All of these are then scoped so that if you want to only show holdings for a particular library, you can. Those are using all the scoping settings within the library information. So you can choose what those do. There is a new status that shows up then if you have no items, but just mark holdings that will say see holdings for the status, since there's not really any way to determine if a mark holding is available or not. So it will show that if there's no copies, it will also hide the copies section for you automatically. We also did some updates related to call numbers and call number pre-stamps. In this case, there's two different subfields that might be a pre-stamp. So those are now both configurable, and we can update those so the entire call number can be found, and you can go and find the title in the library. So just, it's hard to see that these do have different, so like the picture is one subfield. If we looked down at the staff view, we can see that. It's subfield, oh wait, yeah, subfield K, and the other one I believe is F here, if we look at it. So there's the F for the oversize. So then the next thing we did, and this is a cool idea that came out of internal discussions as well as talking with the community. I think we talked about this last month at the gathering. So the idea is we do so many new features that it's hard to know to keep up with them all and apply them all. So, and we don't like to automatically change people's catalogs without telling them. So we've got kind of some recommendations for things that we think you should do, kind of some best practices. So we have the new ability, and we can do this with any release. So going forward, you'll probably see more of this. But up here at the top, you'll notice this yellow bar with the recommended updates are available for Aspen administrators. So this is permission driven. There is a new permission. Anybody who has the ability to run database maintenance will be able to access this. And then you can also turn it on just for specific users or turn it off for specific users. When we click into this is going to give us the ability to see a list of the changes so that we can say, what is the change? What's it doing? So before, we're seeing the search tools are at the bottom. After this, we get the nice image that says the search tools are up above. We have links to the help center. So if we click on more information on this setting, we can click in, get more information about the grouped work so that we can see the search tools and what those are doing. So whether they're shown at the top or the bottom. So lots of information about it, what it does. If we go back here, so now we have the ability, we got 3 different actions that we can do. We can skip it for now. So if you're not sure, or if you're in a consortium and need to have some discussion about it, you can say, wait, I'm going to hold off. Or you can say, apply the update. That's something that I want to do, or I don't want to apply it. So each of these can be chosen individually. So for example, if you love the search tools at the top, you can say, yep, apply that one. If you say, yeah, the floating covers aren't right for my my library, I can say, don't apply that. I really like the covers in the additions for the search results. That just looks really cool and helps people find the right title if they know that cover. So let's go ahead and apply that. And then the new badge. So the new badge will show in search results for anything new. Let's go ahead and apply that as well. So then we apply the updates. As soon as we've applied them all, that yellow bar goes away. Your catalogs are updated. This will apply. So for those options, those do apply to all libraries. So it's a good way to update those across the board. Good recommendations for nice ways to kind of keep Aspen looking fresh and up to date. We like them. We think everybody should use them. So we also have the ability to customize some of the Explore More icons. So we have some icons in there that are defaults. Icons are something really personal to the library. Some of you have really amazing graphic designers that we want to allow to do things with ways other than just like CSS hacks. So we now have the ability to add Explore More icons. So let's go here. So in your theme, you now have down here, there's the Explore More images, and you can customize those. So these are for the groups of things. So, hey, we're going back to the library catalog, or we're going to genealogy, or articles and databases, or events, and maybe there's 10 or 20 or 10,000 different results there. Click on the button to do it easily. This is similar to what we did for EBSCO and some of the other things where you can change those out. So let's upload one for events, do something a little bit fancier. So that goes through and updates. Now, when I refresh this page, give EBSCO a second here to update. So now when I go back and look at that, so now I've got upcoming events. So we can now brand that to our library however we want, which is really cool. We do have one feature that is still in a little bit of development. We're working with our partners on this once more. And it's something that's been requested a lot by the Symphony community. So we have the ability now to define and customize self-registration forms, and also the patron update form. So the idea here is we have a list of all of the fields within Symphony. And we are able to say, is this required? Is this not required? Do I not even want to show it? So I could, if say we're including the apartment suite in the street address, so maybe this is street with apartment or something, we could maybe delete the apartment if we wanted. So you can customize these, you can drag them up and down. So maybe we don't want to show, I mean, does anybody have a regular phone now? So maybe we just want to show the cell phone and not the home phone. So you can drag them up and down, you can get rid of them. You can say if they're required or not. So maybe we really want to make sure that people do put in their birth date. Then we can just save this. And then when we go to self-register, that that form will display. We're still working a little bit on the updates just to make sure that Symphony gets updated appropriately. Sorry, let me just get that up there. Yeah, so here's what that looks like when you self-register now. So, whoop. No, I have the wrong address there. Let me log out. And log back in. We'll say register for a new card. Oh yeah, so here we're showing. That's the part we're still working on. So our plan is to have that ready next week. So it's not going to be on test servers right yet. It will be there sometime next week as we finish up that functionality and work with partners a little bit more. If for some reason we have to pull this out and put it as part of a .10 release, we will do that as well. And turn it over to Jordan now to talk about Aspen Leda.
Yeah, so Mark's going to keep sharing screens. We have a brand new feature in Aspen Leda, and that is system messages. And just like most things in Aspen Leda, it's managed through Aspen Discovery. So you have one place to change everything, and you're really just setting up these system messages at the same time and deciding where they want to go. So the first thing you need to do is set a title, and this title does not display anywhere. This is just for you looking at the system messages to know which one you're editing. So I have this one labeled Leda because I am only going to be updating Leda. This one is the Leda book drop closed. For the message to show, this is again not a new field. This one is for discovery only, and this has your full HTML. If you're only putting your message in Leda, you can leave this blank. It's totally fine. Then it won't display in discovery, and it will display in Leda if you look at the field right below that, you have the display in Leda button or checkbox, excuse me, checked. Below that is where you put how you want the message to read in Leda. So this is a much smaller field. If you're thinking about a phone, it does not have HTML. So I would really think about, as you're using this, how long you want that message to be. And we needed to keep it really simple. So that's why we didn't use exactly the same message for each, but we do have them right next to each other. So you can kind of decide how you want it to appear in the app versus how you want it to appear in Aspen Discovery. Then just like any other system message, you can decide decide which pages you want it to show on. So this one is set to show on all pages, or if you open that up, Mark, if you could open it. You can decide whether you want it on specific accounts pages, find pages, just again, exactly the same. Go ahead and close that out, please. Next, you have the message style. Again, it's the same messages. It's red, yellow. I'll show you what those look like in a second within Lita, and close that one out. And then, of course, you can always schedule them just like you could before. They work the same way. Where things work a little bit differently is with dismissible. So all system messages are going to be dismissible within Lita in their initial session. So right there. And this is because if you have a couple system messages showing, they're going to stack. And you don't have a lot of screen real estate on Lita. So, if they're stacking, that's going to be annoying to scroll past the entire time. If you don't mark it as dismissible, when the patron comes back and logs in again, that message will come back again. So they will have to dismiss it again, but we just don't want to make it annoying where, every single page or every single screen that they open, they have to scroll down. If you mark it as dismissible, so yes, the user can dismiss this, it will work the same in Lita and Discovery. So if they dismiss it, they can dismiss it in Lita, they will never see it again. And if they dismiss it in one place or the other, it will dismiss in both. So we're not going to make them, dismiss it in Discovery and then go into their app and have to dismiss it again. And then again, all the other settings are the same. So if you could stop sharing, Mark, and then I will share my screen so we can take a look at what this looks like in Lita. All right. Okay, so I have my simulator right here. So you can see this at the top is the message that we were looking at. This appears on all screens. And then I'll show you another one. And this is the red. This looks, again, just like Discovery. If I go into my account and then go into my holds page, I set up a different message with a green styling that is only going to be displaying on the holds page. So, and I can go ahead and I can show you. These can be dismissed. And then if I had any holds or pending holds, you would be able to see those here and not be annoyed by those messages anymore. So that's the big update for Lita. And I think that finishes our updates in an instant, and I will turn it over to Morgan.
Before we go on, I just wanted to make sure to thank all of our contributors. So we had contributions this month from Bywater Solutions, Tech A Solutions, as well as PTFS Europe. So thank you everybody for contributing.
Awesome. Well,